Welcome to Daphne and Apollo. Now we're going to look at Fugit here in 502. We're going to go down to 511. And so the chase is on here, and Apollo is chasing Daphne. And we have Okior, right? Fugit here means flees, and Okior is the comparative adjective, so swifter. Now, aura has that suspicious looking ablative. Now, when we have a comparative and then we have an ablative, it is an ablative of comparison. So, swifter than air or swifter than a breeze. And we have Fugit flees. And if we had any doubt that Daphne is the one who is swifter than air and Daphne is the one fleeing, we have Illa. So, that one, she, swifter than air, swifter than a breeze, flees. And then we have Lewy here. Now this is the adjective, the third declension adjective. And so this I is ablative to agree with aura. So swifter than not just a breeze, but a light breeze. And something doesn't happen here. We got a nay. And we have to this or to these. And we would assume words because this is how hike is used to these words or these things. And here we have werba. And then we have wokantis. So this is the present active participle. It means calling back. And this is the genitive case, so of calling back. And then finally we have our verb. So, and, que, she does not stop. Here probably at these words of, now this participle is acting substantively, of him calling her back, of Apollo rewokantising, calling back. The reason we're saying these words is because we have the actual words here in the following lines. And Apollo says, nymph, I beg. And then Panei here is a Greek vocative that means daughter of Peneus. Remember, Peneus is the river god here. So, O nymph, I beg you, daughter of Peneus, mane, remain, stay. He says, non insequor, I don't follow. I'm not following. Now we would expect a you. I'm not following you. Now we get hostis here in the nominative, but it's acting. And it's acting as a positive here. So I'm not following you as an enemy, as your enemy. Nymph, we get that nice anaphora there. Mane, stay. Then we get more anaphora here. Seek, seek, seek. In this simile here, he's saying, in this way, or thus, an agna, so a lamb, but a female lamb with that A there. Then we get a wolf. Now, we don't have a verb yet. We're going to get it in the next line, but you can imagine that lambs and wolves don't get along, right? Lambs and wolves. In this way, deer, a deer, and again, a female deer there, and a lion. So again, they don't get along. And in this way, now look, we have aquilam. Now remember, especially in poetry, whenever we present a list of things, first of all, they're lists of three. But second of all, that third of those items is always presented differently here. So first of all, we're finally going to get our verb fugiunt here in this wonderful line. And so in this way, a lamb flees a wolf, and in this way, or thus, a deer flees a lion, and in this way, something flees an eagle. And then we have pena, which is feather, or really wing, and it's in the ablative, so with the wing, by the wing, on feathers, flee. So what would flee an eagle? Well, I can imagine that maybe a dove here, or here doves. So here's another way where this third item is a little bit different, that we have the plural doves. So in this way, doves flee, or maybe are fleeing, an eagle, pena trepidante, on or with or by a trembling wing or feather. Now we got enemies, and we can see suos goes with enemies. So, and then we have quaique here, and quaique means each. Now again, we're missing a verb, but we can assume it's fugiunt, right? So each one of these flees its own enemies. he says, look, love is, for me, the cause of following. Now, of course, we could say something like, love is my reason for following. So let's break that down a little bit. So amor es causa, that's your sentence, right? Love is the reason, love is the cause. The mihi here is a dative of reference. So for me, the cause is, love is the cause. And then we have a gerund, right? So we have a verb sequor sequi, to follow. We have the nd ending, and it's acting as a noun. So love, for me, is the reason, literally, of following. But we could also say for following. That would sound good in English as well. He says, oh, me miserum, the accusative of exclamation here. Oh, miserable me, poor me, wretched me. And then we get ne with a main verb, but that verb is in the subjunctive. Cato cater is third conjugation, but we have the a, and I teach my students, we be all giant liars. So there's that a present subjunctive. So we have what is essentially a hortatory here. May you not fall. And then prona here means prone or face first. And then we have or. Indigna lidi here. Now, indigna means unworthy, and lidi here is the passive of lidera, so it's the present passive infinitive, so like unworthy to be harmed, unworthy of being harmed. Now, we have another verb here, notent. So may you not fall flat on your face, or unworthy to be harmed. Now, noto notari means to mark up. And here we have crura. And so your shins, so may your shins not mark up. But then we have sentes here, so we've got to revisit. So sentes means like briar bushes, prickly bushes, things that can really hurt you. So may briar bushes not harm your shins there. There's your neuter plural accusative. And that explains your indigna. And it makes sense that this would be feminine singular because we're talking about Daphne, right? And so unworthy to be harmed. But I think probably here, and this is maybe Ovid playing a little bit of an ambiguity here, but probably here indigna refers to the crura. And may briars or brambles not mark up your shins, unworthy to be harmed. And may I be, but I think we have to assume the ne here, so may I not be, for you, another dative there, the reason or the cause of grief. So may I not be the cause of grief in reference to you, the cause of your grief. He says, harsh, and then qua here is just where, and then properos, you are hurrying. So harsh, we're not really sure what that refers to, but where you're hurrying. Now loca sunt. So the places where you're hurrying are harsh. He says, I beg you, oro. And then moderatius, that ius is that comparative adverb ending. More moderately, more slowly. I beg you, run. So run more slowly. And inhibe, another imperative there. Run and inhibe, and inhibit or stop your fuga, your flight. And more moderately, more slowly, I myself will follow. So insequor would be just present tense indicative. Now the insequar, now that could be present tense subjunctive, but I don't think that's what he's saying here. The AR could be either present subjunctive or future indicative, and I think that's what we have here. He says, look, I beg you, run more slowly and stop your flight, and I will follow more slowly. And of course, remember that sequor, insequor, its compounds, those are deponents. So it looks passive, but it translates actively. I will follow you.